may begin whenever you're ready, Counselor.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, ma'am. Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Libeth Fortes Rodriguez.
And Ms. Fortes Rodriguez, where do you work?
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office,
How long have you worked for HCSO?
18 years.
And can you tell us what your job title is at HCSO?
I am in Community Service Aid 2.
So what are some of your duties in that role?
I investigate fraud cases, and I am also the jail calls custodian.
Is one of the functions of the Sheriff's Office to operate the county jail calls in Hillsborough County?
Yes.
Okay. And is there a system that exists in county jails that allow inmates to make telephone calls out as well as to receive them?
Yes.
Is there also with that system a recording system in order for all outgoing calls and incoming calls to be logged and cataloged in for the jail?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that system is called?
Global Tel Link.
How does Global Tel Link operate?
As soon as the inmate picks up the handset, it starts recording. They select prepaid or collect call. They enter their PIN number and the phone number, and the call dials out.
And so is the PIN number associated with each inmate at the jail?
Yes.
And is this tracked, the PIN number with the caller, in a inmate identification type process?
Yes.
How are these calls, how are they recorded for this in the system for HCSO?
They're stored on the Global Tel Link server.
And do you have access to that recording system?
Yes.
Are the jail calls kept and made in a regular course of business for HCSO?
Yes.
And are you the designated jail call records custodian on behalf of HCSO? I think you already said that earlier.
Yes.
Yes, excuse me, sorry. Can you tell us a little bit what it means to be in that role as a jail call custodian?
I maintain the inmate phone records.
Did you, in your capacity as a jail call custodian, receive a request from the state to access the system and download phone calls for an inmate by the name of Quandarious Hammond with the PIN number of 2021-23167? The call was made on September 2nd, 2021, around 20:03 hours.
Yes.
Were you able to locate and download the phone call that matched the one we asked you to pull?
Yes.
And did the PIN number correspond with the name we asked you to look up of Quandarious Hammond?
Yes.
Were you able to view or listen to this jail call prior to sitting here today?
Yes.
And permission to approach, Your Honor?
Granted.
I'm handing you this in pre-market State's Exhibit 40. Have you got a chance to view this disc?
Yes.
Sorry, give me a moment. And you recognize this?
Yes.
And how do you recognize it?
My initials and the date.
Okay, would you say that this is a fair and accurate depiction of that jail phone call we asked you to listen to before testifying here today?
Yes.
The state would move into evidence what's in pre-market States 40 as States 40.
Any objections? Yes. You are about to listen to a audio recording. The court now instructs you that the recording has been edited to eliminate irrelevant portions that would not add to your understanding of the case. The fact that the recording has been edited should not concern you in any way and must not impact the way you view or listen to and consider this evidence. Thank you.
And Judge, just to confirm, this was going to be admitted, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And permission to publish, Your Honor?
Granted.
Thank you.
Please enter the area code and phone number you are calling now. Please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected. Please inform your friends and family. They can now leave you voice messages. They will need to know your 9-digit phone ID. Please hold. Hello, this is a free call from an inmate who for a company or its room detention facility. To accept this free call, press 0. To refuse this free call, hang up. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello? Hello, you at the house?
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, we already know.
okay. Hey, go in the kitchen. You got my phone?
See, their phone's on the investigation.
They took it.
Yeah. I said that before they used to before, they were not their own business.
And what they was that you do what?
I said that when they was, when everybody was leaving my house. When it first came out, I was trying to grab it, they won't grab it. Cause I had turned back around and grabbed my purse.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned him right now. And my grandma, I always leave it. Always in the sweater.
I didn't say that.
Well, look at that.
You was home. Because I get dogs at me.
Yeah.
Good. One should did. I know somebody should. Somebody had to watch the food.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I told them to get on something that shit was bringing me. And like 9 o'clock, I'm like, you gonna say the same thing. So, yeah, he's straight on this. Everything good. You can
That's not
take
what you, but yeah, but that's not what they you got. That's not, they're not talking about that. They just want to know what happened and I said, they don't need to be up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell
That's
you.
it.
Yeah. And he said, you was home, I was home.
You were home. I was in St. Pete. I was at home.
Thank you, Judge. The state passes the witness.
All right, Cross? Anyone else?
No questions on behalf of Mr. Thompson? Yes, sir.
All right, may this witness be excused?
Yes, sir.
You're free to go. Thank you, ma'am. All right, state, you can call your next witness.
Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
If you could please tell the jury your name and spell your last name for the court reporter, please.
I am Detective John Scott Barnett with the Tampa Police Department. My last name is Barnett.
And Detective Barnett, how long have you been working with the Tampa Police Department?
I've been with the Tampa Police Department almost 23 years.
All right. And what is your current position with the Tampa Police Department?
Currently, I am a detective in the Delayed Latent Investigative Squad assigned to District 2 in the north end of Tampa.
All right. Back in August of 2021, in what capacity were you working with the Tampa Police Department at that time?
In 2021, I was a homicide detective with the Homicide Squad.
All right. Now, specifically with August 22nd of 2021, were you brought into the investigation into the death of Suni Bell?
Yes, I was.
And what position were you given in the case?
I was given the second position behind the lead detective, Chris Salea.
And so you were the assist, I guess is what they're called?
That's correct.
Okay. And as the assist, what are your general duties with the investigation?
My duties are basically to follow the lead and to assist him with anything that he needs assistance with.
So you're present in most of the things that the lead goes to, most of the interviews, most of the scene evaluations and things like that?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Were you present with Detective Salea when you all went to East Tampa Pawn and Gun to retrieve a gun?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did you in fact take that gun into evidence and impound it?
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay, Detective, I'm going to show you what's been marked and entered as State's Exhibit 31A and B. It's already been admitted. Now, the firearm has already been observed by the jury. There was also a second, there was a bag placed in that box. What did that bag contain?
Along with, the bag contained the ammunition that was originally inside of the magazine.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. So when you retrieved the gun from East Tampa Pawn and Gun, those live rounds were already within the magazine in the gun?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and so when you took it back to impound, you took out the magazine and took out those, you separated basically everything? Would
Yes,
that be
that's
accurate?
correct.
And then you placed it all into that box, so it's all kept together as one piece of evidence?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, and the other two items, we've already seen the gun and magazine. The other two items, can you identify what those two items are, or the other items, I guess I should say?
This is a rail light and laser that runs on the rail of the handgun to illuminate or sight a target, which was with it. And then the envelope right here is the envelope that has 14 9mm rounds that I removed out of the magazine.
All right, and are they in substantially the same condition as when you received them on that day?
Yes, they are.
Right, and I believe it's already been admitted that I would like to publish at this time the two other items that's on the back.
Great.
So Detective, this item placing on the Elmo here, this is the, I guess, the laser sighted thing that was on the firearm?
That's correct.
Okay. And then this would be the live ammunition that was found within the magazine of that firearm when you obtained it?
That is correct.
Judge, I have no further questions of Detective Barnett at this time.
Any cross-examination?
Briefly, Judge.
Detective Barnett, good afternoon. The sight or light that you were just describing, those are all lawful additions to the firearm, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you, nothing further.
No cross.
Anyone else?
No questions for Mr. Thompson.
And Judge, just briefly, just to make sure, if 31B has not been admitted, we would be asking for
Like
admission.
31B, the magazine and ammo?
Yeah.
That'll be admitted.
Okay, thank you.
Unless there are any objections for legal objections?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. All right. May this witness be released?
Yes, you may, Judge.
Thank you, Detective. State, you can call your next witness.
State would call Detective Mike Lippold.
Leave this down.
Afternoon. If you raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir.
Counselor, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you state and spell your name for the jury?
Yes, it's Michael Lippold, last name Lippold,
And how are you employed?
Tampa Police Department.
What is your title there?
I'm a sergeant.
And what division are you in now?
Right now, I'm the sergeant of the narcotics division,
The narcotics division?
or narcotics squad, yes.
Where were you assigned in 2021, August to be specific?
I was the homicide sergeant at that point.
What are some of your duties as the homicide sergeant?
Review reports, sign them out, review case files, review legal documents, search warrants, maintain the rotation of the detectives, communicate with the other supervisors on any information that might be needed, and obviously communicate with my chain of command.
Now, would you say you supervised the homicide detectives as the sergeant of the homicide division?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we've heard from some detectives, Detective Saleha, Detective Alverson, were those members of your squad in August of 2021?
Yes.
And when you supervise them, tell me how it is that you assign them cases.
It's just a rotating list. Once a detective is at the top of the list, they get the homicide and fall to the bottom for the next one. There's usually 2 scene detectives. They come from the middle usually, and then there's a lead detective, which is towards the bottom to help the detective that's up.
And that list does it have anything to do with their actual qualifications, or when you say rotation, do you mean, the bottom has the last homicide assignment and it rotates in that manner?
Yeah, it's just rotation, nothing to do with qualifications, just a rotation.
They all have the same qualifications?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell me how long you've been with the Tampa Police Department in total?
16 and a half years.
Did you have any law enforcement experience before that 16 and a half years?
Yes.
And what was that?
That was St. Petersburg Police Department.
How long were you with St. Pete Police Department?
A little over 2 years.
Now, when you indicate that you're supervising scenes, what does that mean specifically when you actually get there? How does that differ from the detective that's assigned?
Mostly make sure the scene is secure. Make sure if there's any witnesses or anyone needs to be interviewed, that they're where they need to be and lined up for the detectives to get there. Make sure that there's logs in and out, and then usually communicate with my chain above me once I get there.
When the scene is more involved, do you actually get into the assistance of the scene search, the scene, recording, anything like that? Do you kind of go hands-on if there's a larger scene or more involved scene?
Yeah, I can. I would say any scene if I'm not tied up on something else, yeah.
You provide assistance?
Yes.
And when you are called out to these scenes, is that on a rotating basis? So it could be at 10 o'clock in the morning and it could be at 3 o'clock in the morning, meaning opposite schedules?
Yeah, whatever.
Time does not matter.
No.
Okay. And did you have some specific involvement with the homicide investigation into the death of Suni Bell and attempted murder of Mrs. Harrison or Mr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your involvement specifically in that particular investigation beyond supervising the homicide detectives assigned?
Well, I assisted reviewing some videos, obviously assisted with search warrants, assisted with reviewing search warrants, controlling or communicating with other squads and whatnot.
As the homicide was being investigated over the weeks or months leading up into the arrest of the defendants, did you have a continuing involvement?
Yes.
So I want to start with the night of the homicide, August 22nd of 2021. Did you respond out to the scene on East Hillsborough Avenue?
Yes.
And what are some of the observations that you made when you arrived on scene?
The scene was secure. There was crime scene tape up. There were several officers along Hillsborough Avenue. Hillsborough Avenue was closed down both east and west from 45th Street to 40th Street. Remember, there was a silver Infiniti G35 that was appeared to be crashed into a telephone pole at 43rd Street. It had front-end damage, which was consistent with the pole that it was kind of laying on. I remember the vehicle obviously had several bullet strike marks or bullet holes in it along the driver's side and rear of the vehicle. I remember multiple casings along the roadway of Hillsborough Avenue.
Do you recall the caliber of the casings that you yourself observed?
Yes, I remember seeing 9mm and either 223 or 5.56 rounds, which are the same size.
You say same size, it's a different measurement, but the same
Right.
caliber of a bullet?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. When you arrived and saw the size of the scene, what did you actually do on scene on the night of to assist?
I helped kind of triage where good video surveillance would be. So I was directed to a couple businesses that had surveillance cameras that were already being viewed.
Did you have an opportunity specifically to review the camera at the principal auto sales location?
Yes, Detective Wolf brought me into the business and showed me the camera on their screen.
Where was that principal auto sales location in relation to the vehicle crash that you already mentioned?
Would have been just a tad east of that location, pretty much directly in front of it, just a little bit to the east.
Were you able to see from the surveillance that you reviewed the vehicle crash location?
Yes.
And while you were with Detective Wolf in reviewing this video, was there any information or visual that you observed that you then ultimately relayed through to the person you assigned to be the lead detective?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you what has been pre-marked as States Exhibit A through I. Would you please review proposed Exhibit 55A through I and let me know if you recognize that?
Yes.
And do you recognize what I've just provided to you as at least a relevant portion of the video that you saw from the principal auto sales on August 22nd?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move what was proposed States 55A through I into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
All right, it will be admitted, states 55A through I.
As you watched the video, did you have the opportunity to isolate some of the images or slow down the footage so that you were able to see what was going on in that video?
Yeah, I was able to, obviously, inside the business and also after the fact, obviously, within the office at the headquarters.
I'm going to publish for you 55A. If you could look just over your shoulder there for reference here. Is this the view that you were able to see some activity on the cameras that you were watching?
Yes.
And from that, what information was relayed from 55C or 55D as it related to the vehicles that you were observing in the video to your lead detective?
Judge, objection the same. The best evidence is the video and even the screenshots from the video, not his interpretation. Would object.
I'll overrule the objection based on the question. Both objections.
What, if anything, of evidentiary value did you note from the video in principal auto sales?
Same objection.
Same ruling.
Obviously, I knows that to be the victim's vehicle, and then are you going to show different
Yes, I can. If you want to use, there should be a wood stick up there. I know it's a little bit difficult because these are screen grabs, but if you can point to us and identify the victim's vehicle that you've just mentioned.
There, and then this vehicle here, behind it.
Now I'm showing you 55E. I won't go through all of these photos, but essentially, can you describe for us what it is that you observed that actually made you take note?
Yes, obviously, there in this photo, I noticed the heavy light, which I believe would be a large muzzle flash, come from, obviously, the passenger side of the vehicle, because this is the driver's door. So from the passenger side of the vehicle area, several times I noticed a large muzzle flash coming from that vehicle there.
Okay, so you said several times, and is that what you were looking at while I was there at 55F? So just at the same vehicle, just in these screen grabs, these are in chronological time order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, understood. So you provided the information of what you saw from the video as the photos here have depicted to the lead detective?
Yes.
And did you, based on your just training and experience over the last 18 and a half years, I think if I did the math right, provide to him that you believed it to be muzzle flash?
Yes.
Okay. And with that information, were you also able to see that actual area of the roadway? So if I go back and show you 55I, for example, were you out there on Hillsborough Avenue at that location on foot?
Yes.
Okay. Were you able to examine the roadway in that area?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity to see cartridge cases in the roadway in that area as well?
Yes.
Is there an objection? Okay. Did you have an opportunity to see what type of cartridge cases were there just west of the of the victim's vehicle?
Yes.
What type of cartridge casings were located there?
Both handgun and obviously rifle.
What do you mean by handgun? I presume handguns
Smaller cartridge cases, which I believe to be a 9mm, and then larger ones that believe to be a rifle projectile or a stand casing.
After the conclusion of your involvement at the homicide scene on the night of the homicide, so the 22nd, did you have additional involvement in this particular investigation?
I reviewed some other videos and whatnot, yes.
In addition to the videos you viewed that night. So we saw principal auto sales screenshots. Did you also review the Chevron video?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see any additional videos on that evening?
Just those two on that evening.
Here, could I ask, start with the whole table closer to the mic?
I'm sorry, I have a cold, so I know, I'm trying to speak up. My voice it's out. I'm sorry. Yes, that night, Chevron and Principal Auto were the videos I reviewed, or looked at.
During the course of the investigation, were you privy to additional videos that had been recovered either by yourself or homicide detectives or deputies on scene, et cetera?
Yes.
And ultimately, were you involved in the investigation on August 27th of 2021 as well?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you respond to on that date?
On that date, I responded to a traffic stop of Mr. Bedward in his silver or gray Chrysler 300.
Is that Jaylin Bedward, the defendant?
Yes.
And you indicated it was the Chrysler 300. Is that the vehicle that you saw when you arrived on scene to this stop on the 27th of August?
Yes.
And was Mr. Bedward still present at the time of your arrival?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an opportunity to, or did the detectives with you have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Bedward there?
I did not. Detectives, yes.
And were you to remain with the vehicle, or did you have some other responsibility at that time?
I stayed with the vehicles.
Can you explain to me what the weather conditions were on the 27th of August when you arrived to the 300?
It's clear when I arrived, and then shortly after, it started to rain really heavily.
And what was your role in staying with that vehicle?
I wanted to preserve any evidence that was in the area that I believed of importance, which is the passenger mirror. So I stood over the mirror above it. I had an umbrella trying to cover the rain.
Why is it that you believe there was some importance on the passenger mirror? Did you make some observation?
There were scratches to the top of the mirror. So, yeah.
And having reviewed the principal auto sales video, why were the scratches on the passenger mirror of importance to you?
Objection, Judge, same continuing objection as to the
Approach. You may continue, Counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, without telling me the reason for such, did you document a defect to the passenger mirror on the right side of Mr. Bedward's vehicle?
Yes.
I'm showing you what has been marked as page 25A through F. Do you recognize these images? Excuse me, A through H.
Yes.
And do these images fairly and accurately represent Mr. Bedward's vehicle, the 300, on the date that you responded to the stop location?
Yes.
And do they accurately depict what we had previously discussed was the defect you wanted documented on the passenger mirror?
Yes.
At this time, state moves to admit states 25A through H.
Any objections other than previously noted?
No, just renote our previous objection.
All right, they'll be admitted as 25A through H.
I'm showing you 25B. Can you see that okay, Detective?
Yes.
Is this the vehicle, the Chrysler 300, as it appeared when you arrived on scene to take photographs?
Well, when I got on scene, it was dry, but yeah, I was on scene when it started raining, yes.
Okay, I apologize. Let me go to the dryer. Let's look at 25C. Did you instruct the crime scene tech to photograph this item?
Yes.
What mirror are we looking at in this 25C?
The front passenger mirror.
Of the same vehicle, we saw this overall photograph of 25B. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at some point, maybe we see it in the reflection here. At some point, are you holding an umbrella to make sure it does not get wet?
Yes.
All right. And is 25D just depicting another angle of that mirror?
Yes.
Did you have any additional involvement at that particular scene with the Chrysler 300?
No.
Was that 300 impounded from the scene pursuant to a search warrant for a search at your impound lot with the agency?
Yes.
Were you involved in that subsequent search at all?
No.
Did you then have additional involvement in the following month on September 29th of 2021?
29th?
Yes. Did you respond to a search warrant that was conducted on Quandarious Hammond's residence?
Yes.
Was that on the 29th? I may.
That was on the 2nd of September. I believe.
The 2nd of September, you're right, the writing on the card. Do you, when you ask a crime scene tech to come to a scene, have them fill out a card which indicates the date during which the search took place?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that so that attorneys like me cannot mistake the date that the search actually occurred when the videos are subsequently being reviewed?
Yeah, so we know the date of the photos, yes.
And did you ultimately have crime scene techs present with you during the search of Mr. Hammond's residence, or at least were you present for that?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity to review the photographs that were taken from that search warrant?
Yes.
I am going to show you what's been marked as states 26A through 26M. Would you please take a look and tell me if you identify these photographs?
Yes.
And do you recognize these as some of the photographs that were taken during that search warrant execution?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state seeks to admit 26A through 26M.
Any objections?
No objection.
Anyone else? All right, they'll be admitted as 26A through M.
I'm showing you states 26A. Is this that card we were talking about to eliminate confusion and give you all some idea of when the search occurs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you would not have filled this out, but would someone with your agency have completed it?
Yes.
Now, in showing you 26B, were there items of evidentiary value that were collected from Mr. Hammond's residence that you were able to observe? 26B and then ultimately 26C.
Yes.
And did those items include a hat that's depicted here in 26C?
Yes.
Did you also have the opportunity whilst present during that search to observe is this 26D the same hat?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to observe a cellular device or electronic device during the course of that search warrant?
Yes.
In 26F, is this that device?
Yes.
Was the electronic device collected or impounded before you all departed from the scene?
Yes.
Were you involved in any subsequent search warrant for the device from Mr. Hammond's residence?
I'm sure I approved the search warrant, yes.
When the homicide detectives that you supervised needed approval of warrants, is that typically your responsibility to review and approve those?
Yes.
Okay. And additionally, did you recover some clothing items from the search warrant at Mr. Hammond's residence as well?
Yes.
In looking at 26H, can you direct us to what specifically from this photograph was collected into evidence?
Yes.
Had you, at the time that you attended this search warrant execution, had an opportunity to review the surveillance footage from the interior of the Chevron gas station?
Yes.
In looking at 26J, after the item was photographed, was there an opportunity to lay the item out and take better photographs of those pants?
Yes.
And were those pants ultimately collected, 26K?
Yes.
Lastly, along with the pants was a top of some kind also collected and retained.
Yes.
And is that what's depicted in 26L?
Yes.
Lastly, did you have an opportunity to review the interior chevron footage as it related specifically to Mr. James Denson?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to view that footage and determine what you believed him to be wearing at the time that he was at the Chevron or the Jet on August 22nd of 2021?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked for identification as states 28A through I. You recommend these photos?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they fairly and accurately depict at least some of the photographs that were taken during the execution of that search warrant?
Yes.
And did that occur on September 28th, 2021?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state seeks to admit states 28A through I.
Any objections?
No objection.
And permission to publish, Your Honor.
It will be admitted as 28 A through I, and you may publish.
I'm going to show you 28B. Was there any object that you were able to also see upon entry into that residence that was of note at evidence marker 1?
Yes.
And having reviewed the interior footage from the Chevron surveillance, I'm showing you 28C, was the backpack at evidence marker number 1 impounded into evidence as a potential item of evidence?
Yes.
In the Chevron video, did you observe Mr. Denson carrying or wearing anything similar to this?
Yes.
And is that why this was also impounded?
Yes.
In addition to that bag, did you have an opportunity to see the feet of the individual in the Chevron video?
Yes.
And were you able to observe what clothing items were on their feet?
Yes.
Was there ultimately the impound of an item at evidence marker number 4, State's Exhibit E, in relation to what you observed?
Yes.
And was that as a result of your reviewing the interior exterior footage from the Chevron gas station on August 22nd?
Yes.
Were these sandals also impounded?
Yes.
Now, was there something else that actually occurred during the course of the search warrant with Mr. Denson? Was he present when you arrived for the execution of the warrant?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to speak with James Denson on that evening?
Yes.
Was Mr. Denson under arrest?
No.
Was he being detained?
No.
Did you advise Mr. Denson that he was free to leave?
Yes.
What options during the course of the execution of the search warrant were provided to Mr. Denson at that time as far as staying or leaving?
I asked him he could stay if he wanted to outside, or he could leave, and I would make sure either one of the detectives or myself would give him a phone call when we were done.
And did Mr. Denson elect to stay there at the scene?
Yes.
While the search warrant was being executed, where was Mr. Denson?
He was in the parking lot area, mostly standing next to his vehicle,
And where were you?
towards like the sidewalk area in front of the apartment.
What were you doing?
At that point,
Well, I guess at some point you have a conversation
Yes.
with Mr. Denson.
Yes.
Okay, and tell me about that conversation. Where does that
Sorry.
occur?
the same area I just said, sorry. He was standing next to his vehicle. I was standing more on the sidewalk or in front of the apartment complex.
And what's the tone or tenor of that conversation?
He appeared to be pretty relaxed and cooperative.
Would you consider this having to be your formal interview of James Denson about what occurred on the night of August 22nd?
I'd consider it more of like an informal interview.
So you did not sit him down, go through Miranda, talk about the events, anything like that?
No.
Did not go down to the district office
No.
at any point or anything like that? Okay,
No.
so I guess I'm just asking, did you have a conversation with him, or was this like an inquisition?
That was more of a conversation.
Is that a tactic that you were utilizing in order to obtain any kind of information?
No, I would just communicate with him at that point.
And what was the conversation that you were in fact having? Is there some point in which you asked him about a firearm?
Yeah, we spoke about several things, his vehicle, his girlfriend's kid, and yes, we spoke about the firearm that he pawned.
Was it a really structured conversation? Were you staying with him the whole time? Explain to us what the environment was like.
No, it wasn't structured at all. I mean, he was walking to his car. He actually showed me one of the broken windows in his car that he said he had to break because he locked the key in the car. No, it was we were smooth around.
At some point, do you ask Mr. Denson about whether he owns a firearm?
Yes.
Did you bring that up, or did Mr. Denson bring that up?
He brought up the firearm.
And
Well,
what, oh, I apologize.
I'm sorry. I mean, we talked about several firearms, but he brought up about the firearm he pawned.
Okay. You mentioned that he brought up the firearm he pawned. Did you know anything about the pawning of a firearm at that time?
Yes.
Did you ask him specifically whether he pawned the firearm?
No, he just asked when he was getting it back, if he would get it back.
Okay. So can you explain to me just exactly what Mr. Denson said about the firearm that was pawned?
He just asked if he was ever getting it back. Stated that it was one of his favorite firearms, his main carry, I think is what he said.
I'm sorry.
His main carry is what he said. And then we also spoke about, he said that he never lends out his firearms and did not lend out that firearm.
Did you specifically ask him if he lent it out or gave it to one of his friends?
I did ask him if he lent it out the firearm, yes.
And what did he say to that?
So no, he does not lend out his firearms. So because people do dumb stuff with firearms, or can.
Did you speak about whether he intended to retrieve that firearm from the pawn shop?
Well, I mean, yeah, he asked if he was able to get it back.
And initially, when he advised you that he pawned the weapon, did he advise or make any statements about wanting to buy it back?
Yes.
What was that?
He said he wanted to buy it back, but he assumed he wouldn't be able to because we have it.
Did he make any statements to you about being able to afford to buy back the firearm from the pawn shop before the date you all actually seized it?
Yes, he made a statement about not being able to, well, no, he said he wouldn't be able to afford a new firearm, not buy the one back.
Did he confirm the caliber of the weapon that he had pawned?
I think he refers to it as pawned firearm. I don't know that he ever says the exact caliber of it.
At that point, based on the tone of the conversation you were having with Mr. Denson, did you believe that to be any of the weapons used in the homicide of Suni Bell?
Yes.
And what was Mr. Denson's demeanor during the course of your conversation?
Like I said, he was relaxed, and cooperative, and kind of easygoing.
Did you ultimately, as you've indicated before, advise him before you departed that you would let him know when the search warrant was completed?
Yeah, I told him that someone would call him.
Did Mr. Denson ultimately depart that location where that occurred?
Yes, he eventually left.
Your Honor, may I have 1 moment?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Pass.
No questions, Your Honor.
No questions. Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Sergeant Lippold, good afternoon. Talking about Mr. Denson, when you spoke to him on September 28th, you said that prior to going to his apartment, that you were already aware that he had pawned a firearm. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why didn't you go to the pawn shop prior to going to Mr. Denson's house to retrieve that firearm?
I believe he already had the firearm.
Okay. Well, if somebody testified differently that after you went to the apartment, then you went to the pawn shop, would it make more sense that you learned about the firearm being pawned from Mr. Denson, then went to East Tampa Pawn and Gun?
I'd have to review it. I'm not sure.
Okay, but you weren't the one that actually went to the pawn shop to retrieve the firearm?
No, sir.
That would have been Detective Soleil and Detective Barnett, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, just so I'm clear, Ms. Ismer asked you, based on Mr. Denson's tone, did you believe that was the firearm used in the homicide? And your answer was yes.
Oh, I misunderstood the question, then no.
As to the form, I don't believe that was the question.
I'll sustain that objection.
Was there anything, you suspected that the firearm was used in the homicide based on your investigation or based on anything you were getting from Mr. Denson?
Based on the investigation.
Okay, all right, just want to make sure there wasn't, because you said he's cooperative, you said he wasn't overly concerned and things of that nature, so I want to make sure that there wasn't anything where you thought he was being deceptive with you or anything like that.
No, he was cooperative.
In fact, he was so cooperative that he gave you the passcode to his cell phone that you also took into custody that day, correct?
Yes.
That's something that not everybody does, right?
Not all the time.
Okay, because you actually have to go through some other steps if somebody doesn't give you the passcode to review the information on the phone, correct?
Yes.
And as far as him leaving or remaining at his apartment when the search warrant was being conducted, you're not going to allow somebody to remain inside an apartment while you are photographing, cataloging, and impounding items of evidence, correct?
Correct.
So the fact that somebody stays, leaves, you're not going to allow them to sit on the couch while you're doing your job,
No,
right?
stay in would be stay outside.
All right, and as far, like you said, you're not going to read anything into whether somebody departs the scene or remains at the scene outside, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Nothing further.
Anyone else?
Couple quick questions, if I may, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Detective.
How you doing, sir?
You've described that you were out in the rain taking photos of a Chrysler 300, I believe it was.
I had the crime scene tech take photos, yes.
Right. You were just here. I think you were holding the umbrella.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know the year that, you've identified it as a Chrysler 300, the vehicle, correct?
Yes, sir.
You know the year of it?
I believe it's 2016,
2015?
2016?
2016, and this was in 2021 when you took those photos, correct?
Yes,
And that'd have been 6 years later, 5 or 6 years later, if my math is correct?
yes,
That's how old the car was?
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're free to go. Thank you, sir. Are you stating the next witness?
State calls Thomas Gonzalez.
Affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Whenever you're ready, Counselor.
Thanks. Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name for the record?
Yes. My name is Thomas G. Gonzalez Jr., Gonzalez, Gonzalez.
And Mr. Gonzalez, are you currently employed?
Yes, I am. I'm currently employed by the City of Tampa Police Department,
And what is your job title at the Tampa Police Department?
latent fingerprint specialist.
Prior to being at TPD, do you have any experience in fingerprint comparisons prior to becoming, before working for Tampa Police Department?
No.
And in this role at Tampa Police Department, did you have to receive any training or education in order to be a fingerprint analyst?
Upon being hired in July of 2000, I received approximately 2,000 hours of on-the-job training to learn how to be a crime scene technician / identification technician. I was trained to document a crime scene using photography, collect and preserve evidence, and process evidence for latent fingerprints. As identification technician, I was trained to analyze and compare ink-to-ink fingerprints for the purposes of elimination and identification. Upon being promoted in April of May of 2006, I received additional 1,000 hours of on-the-job training to learn how to analyze and compare latent fingerprints to known fingerprints for the purposes of identification and elimination. I took coursework in rhenology, advanced latent fingerprint comparison and analysis, courtroom testimony.
Okay, I think you answered my next question. You receive on-the-job training in order to keep up to date with the fingerprint and comparisons and if they change or anything like that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How much time would you say a week is dedicated to comparing fingerprints?
The vast majority of my time.
Alrighty, and in general, in your years of experience, how many fingerprint comparisons do you believe that you have performed?
Many, multiple, hundreds of thousands.
At this time, the state would tender the witness, Your Honor.
Anyone have any questions?
No objection.
All right, you may continue.
Why don't you walk us through exactly what is a fingerprint?
A fingerprint, well, known fingerprint, let's just go over known fingerprints. If you want to get the known fingerprints of an individual, you take the person's hand, roll it into a thin layer of printer's ink, and re-roll it onto a fingerprint card. Or nowadays, you can do it on a computer scanner, and that's how it's done. It's just the known fingerprints, which is a copy of the ridge detail on the hand.
And so I think by the name of a known fingerprint, that then that basically says that you know who the fingerprints are coming from. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And would you say that each fingerprint has differentiating characteristics as opposed to another person's fingerprints?
Yes, approximately a dime-sized piece of skin anywhere on your hand is unique to every other piece of skin on your hand and anywhere else.
And does anyone have the same fingerprints, even identical twins?
No. With over 100 years of research and many multiple hundreds of millions of fingerprints, we have yet to find two people with the same fingerprint.
If you could, Mr. Gonzalez, can you briefly go over any type of methods you use when comparing prints to one another?
Technically, I use the ACV methodology, which is doing an analysis, a comparison, an evaluation, and a verification phase, comparing the ridge system from one fingerprint to another and determine if those ridge systems came from the same finger or not.
Were you asked to compare fingerprints in this case?
Yes.
And I'm showing you what's been already entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 34. Do you recognize this document, sir?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize it?
I recognize it from my analysis and comparison work in this case, and also my handwriting.
Okay, and so your handwriting is all the red ink that's alongside this exhibit?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I'm going to be handing you, Your Honor, permission to approach the witness.
Yes.
I am handing you what's been pre-marked, or I think I messed those up. That was Exhibit 33, excuse me.
Okay.
I'm handing you what's been pre-marked as Exhibit 34. Do you recognize this, sir? Would
Yes.
you like me to put the other exhibit?
No, I recognize the date.
Okay.
Okay. And the red mark. Okay.
All right, and what, you're looking at certain things in order to recognize it, is that correct?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you looking at certain things on that document in order to recognize it?
Yes, I'm looking at my handwriting and also the red dot I notated on when I did my comparison.
Okay. Would you say that this is the same or substantial same condition from the last time you reviewed it when comparing it to Exhibit 33?
Yes.
Statement moving to evidence with complete record states Exhibit 34 as states 32.
Any objection? 34 will be admitted.
And when you had the opportunity for this case to compare Exhibit 34, the known prints of Mr. James Denson, to the pond form Exhibit 33, were you able to find any conclusions?
Yes, I conducted a comparison and concluded that the same person that was rolled in exhibit, I believe you said 33 was a court rolled prints?
No, I'm sorry, so 34 are the known prints.
Okay, so the same person that was rolled in exhibit 34, which is the court rolled print, was the exact same person that left behind the inked impression on exhibit
33.
33. Thank you.
Thank you. One moment, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
The state will pass witness. Thank you, Judge.
Any questions?
No, sir. No questions. No questions.
May this witness be excused? You're free to go, sir. Thank you. State, you may call, you know what? Yeah, we got one time for a break. Call you next week. Whenever you're ready, counsel.
Good afternoon, Sergeant. If you could please tell the jury your name and spell your last name for the court reporter.
Sure. It's Sergeant Gregory Van Heist. Last name is V as in Victor, A, N as in Nancy, space, capital H-E-Y-S-T.
Thank you, sir. Sir, where are you currently employed?
Currently employed with the Tampa Police Department.
And how long have you been working with the Tampa Police Department?
It's going to be almost 26 years now.
All right. What is your current position with the Tampa Police Department?
I'm currently the sergeant of our Internet Crimes Against Children and Digital Forensics Squad, or Cyber Crimes Unit.
Okay. How long have you been working in that position?
I've been there about 5 years.
All right. Prior to working there, where did you work before that?
Prior to this position, I was the sergeant of the Homicide Squad, and I was the sergeant there for also about 5 years.
Okay. Back in August 22nd of 2021, were you still in the Homicide Division, or had you already transferred?
I was not. I had transferred to the current role where I am now.
All right. In your current role, though, do you often render assistance to homicide detectives when it comes to items of evidence with regards to telephones?
I do, yes.
Okay. And is that based on your experience in the past with the use of this technology and your experience right now in the current position you hold?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So in your career with the Tampa Police Department, have you ever had opportunities to work on cases regarding cell phone technology, specifically dealing with cellular record, mobile forensics, and cybercrimes?
Yes, I have, quite a bit.
Okay. Have you had any specific training in those areas?
I have, yes.
What sort of training have you had?
So it's well over 300 hours of varied training. Some of the summaries of the training have been put on by organizations like the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. They have a technical unit called the Law Enforcement Technical Forum. Twice a year, we'll go and meet other investigators. They'll bring in companies like T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, Apple. And they give us updates on their technology. We're able to ask questions, bounce ideas off each other. I've also attended multiple trainings put on by private organizations that give advanced training on call detail records, mobile forensics, things like that.
All right. And what would you say, could you go over just basically your total training and experience in these areas? Like what sort of things you've done?
As far as what I've done in my role?
Just your experience, yes, when it comes to this.
So I've mapped out cell phone records probably hundreds, if not now, over 1,000 times. I've written, probably the same amount of search warrants, obtaining those types of records from cell phone companies, obtained data from devices themselves, used them in cases, and then assisted other detectives or officers in their cases also.
All right. And so as a part of this, then you have had occasion to map out cell site records, travel of a cell phone type of instance situations?
I have, yes, quite a bit.
All right. And how is that done generally, if you can explain? Just sort of generally, you don't have to get too technical.
Sure. So we as investigators will obtain data from a company such as T-Mobile via a court process, usually a search warrant. Those records will come to us in an Excel spreadsheet. It'll have rows of data, so rows of the activity that occurred for that phone number. Those rows will have items like the timestamp of when it occurred. They'll also have a cell site location, so which cell site that occurrence associated with geographically. It also could have the numbers that were called or texted, the unique IMEI or device identifier that was used for that event. And then some of the more specialized records could also give an estimated location of that device with latitude and longitude, and potentially an estimated distance from the cell site, also which side of the cell site it interacted with. So a lot of that type of data will come in, usually in a spreadsheet format.
All right. Have you ever testified as an expert in this area?
I have, yes.
About approximately how many times?
I believe 5 times.
All right. And has that been in this jurisdiction?
Yes, in this circuit.
All right. Judge, at this point, I'll tender the witness if any defense has any questions.
Any questions? All right. You're free to continue.
All right, thank you, Judge. Sir, now, in preparation for today, did you help prepare an exhibit to demonstrate, in this particular case, your analysis of the 5 phones that were presented to you, or 5 phone numbers?
I did, yes.
All right. At this time, I'm going to approach and show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 45 for identification, and have you go through this. Do you recognize that?
Yes, it's a demonstrative that I created.
All right. And does this fairly and accurately depict the testimony you're going to give as far as the information you recovered when it comes to the cell phones you were provided in this case?
The cell phone records, yes.
Okay, cell phone records. Judge, at this time, I would move State's Exhibit number 45 into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
All right, 45 will be admitted.
All right, so starting with page 1 of 45, this is just sort of a title page, I guess, of what you're doing on this, in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, on page 2, please explain to the jury what this page is trying to demonstrate or explain to them with regards to cell phone technology.
Sure, so this is just to give a little bit of example of a traditional cell tower or cell site, if you will. On my left, there's a picture of a traditional cell tower or cell site. Those are going to be antennas on top of a tower. Generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, a cell site will have 3 sides. It's going to have 3 sets of antennas, each pointing about 120 degrees. It's not an absolute, but generally speaking, they each cover about 120 degrees of range. This is kind of to show that's how they might be set up. I'm sure all of us have seen several of those around the city of Tampa.
Now, page 3, I believe you have some pictures of particular cell site towers and how they work. Is that correct?
Yes, so these are just some additional examples of how cell sites can appear. They can be on the top of a pole, as is on my left here. They also can be smaller or non-traditional cell sites, can be an antenna just on top of a telephone pole, or they can be attached to the side of a building. So they're not always those 3-sided. They can come in different ways, but generally speaking, there are going to be 3 sets or 3 sides to a cell site having antennas on those 3 sides.
Now, page 4 contains basically a map of some sort. Is correct? Now, what are you indicating with this?
Yeah, this is just a disclaimer. As we look into some of the mapping that was done I do for all these cases, but this case also, where those 2 lines, those straight lines meet, that's the location of the cell site. The shaded area in red here, that is at the bottom or where those 2 lines meet, that's going to indicate which side of that cell site that call or text or interaction with the device occurred with. So which side of that cell tower or which antenna. The disclaimer is that shaded area does not mean that the cell phone was inside of that area. It doesn't mean that the cell phone was inside of the confines of those 2 straight lines. It's simply meaning that this is a depiction of where that cell site is, where those 2 lines meet, and then which side of that antenna that interaction is occurring with.
And then you also have it on page 5 discussing timing advance. What is timing advance versus the page before, which had to do with the cell site or cell tower location?
Right. So there's 2 sets of records we can get that give some geographic information about a device's interaction with a cell site. Call detail records are the traditional records that occur with a call or a text, or it could be a data, like something, your phone is uploading something to Facebook. It needs to make that connection to the internet to get whatever message across. That's going to create that connection with a cell site that just gives you where the cell site was in the world and which side of the cell site or which antenna it occurred with. Timing advance is a different type of record. It happens without any interaction by the user. It's the companies like T-Mobile describe it as a network event. So it's a connection between the device and a cell site with no control or no input by the user. It's intended, the company's intended it so that their devices will work perfectly, so that when you hit send, make a call, the timing is just right, that it goes to the cell site, goes through the lines, goes to the other system, and reaches out to their cell site so you can make that call or text. They want to know generally where those devices are so they can get the timing right, thus the name timing advance. So what they do is actually with a search warrant, we can get these records. They will be timestamped, and they'll have the location of the cell site that I interacted with. They'll have the direction, so which antenna, if it's the north side or the south side or southeast. And then also, the data will give an estimated distance from the cell site. That's that arc that you see there. And then they also will provide an estimated location of the device. Now, they say in the records, and I've learned this from experience, that is an estimation of the location of the device, that dot that you see extending out, that black dot on the top of the map we're looking at. This is just to show that, again, it doesn't mean the device is exactly along that arc. It definitely doesn't mean the device is where that estimated location is, but this is what you're going to see in the slides coming forward. And then on page, I believe this is page 6,
you also talk about, I guess, AT&T's system, which is different than T-Mobile's. So, Sergeant, when it comes to each of these cellular mobile companies, they all use different technology, I'm assuming, or different ways of getting their information?
More or less, yes. They all have their own proprietary technology they're going to use. T-Mobile has records they will collect or provide in one way. AT&T will provide them in different. AT&T has a record called NELOS, or Specialized Location Record, which is, again, an estimated location of that device. They'll actually give an estimated radius of certainty, but they also give a disclaimer on their record saying that it's an estimation, and it doesn't necessarily mean the device was actually in the circle that you're going to see. But I think it's on an upcoming slide here.
Yes, so in this, so AT&T is different than T-Mobile in how they send their information, correct?
Well, yes. In 2021, when this case occurred, AT&T did not provide timing advance records. T-Mobile did. AT&T didn't. AT&T's additional record is this historical precision location information, which gives that latitude and longitude, which in this example we're looking at here would be right in the middle of that circle, that shaded area, and then they'll give it a radius. So that's that shaded area depicting the radius they're reporting where they believe that phone was inside.
All right. So, Detective, having gone through all that information, were you provided telephone numbers and subscriber information regarding 5 different phones in this particular case?
I was, yes.
All right. I'm going to go through those individually, and we're going to start with, well, you go through, all right, so let's start with phone number in red here. It's 813-461-9827. Was that a number in records you were provided?
Yes, that is.
All right. When you get this information, does it also contain subscriber information?
It does, yes. That's one of the items that's requested in the search warrant, and that's what you're seeing here on the right.
All right. So in this particular case, we know through the detective the numbers and who they're associated with in each device. But in this case, in particular, or this number in particular, this subscriber information does contain, in fact, the name of Zvante Sampson. Would that be accurate?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And so the page that I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the page. If you can, please explain to the jury what we're seeing here in the subscriber information page.
So it's going to give a name, subscriber name, Zvante Sampson, a subscriber address, 3112 East Emma Street. It'll give a status, so active, some dates of when that account was opened. And then if you go further down, it gives some more details regarding the MZ is a unique number that's on the SIM cards, that little white chip that we put on our cell phones, and the new ones we don't anymore, but we used to put the little white SIM cards on our phones. That's that unique number there that's associated with the phone number. It gives the phone number, the MSISDN is the phone number that's in question here. And then it also will give, in this case, a date of birth, a social security number if the user provided that upon signing up for the account.
All right. Now, just because a person may have a phone on them does not necessarily mean that that the subscriber information will be that person's information. Would that be accurate?
Correct.
All right. For instance, we have a phone number that Detective Salea attributed to Andrew Thompson, which is 813-499-4882. This is the AT&T phone. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And this one has subscriber information, does it not?
It does, yes.
And who does it have as the subscriber for this telephone number?
So the financially liable name is Ferris Gilmore. It looks like also the billing party and the user information is Ferris K. Gilmore.
All right. So the subscriber information doesn't always indicate the individual who owns or has the phone and is using the phone.
In my experience, no.
Okay. For instance, if my son has a phone, but I'm the one who takes the phone and purchases the phone for him and I pay for it, it will probably be in my name versus my son's name.
That's correct.
Okay. And the next one we have is phone number 813-534-8321, which in this particular case, we know from the testimony of Detective Salea that this phone belonged to or was taken from and in the possession of Jaylin Bedward. So with regards to this subscriber information, if you could explain to the jury what we're looking at here as far as the subscriber information.
So this subscriber information is showing as in prepaid or non-customer. This is likely going to be a type of phone that, well, prepaid, for lack of better words, where a subscriber information or an ID was not required in order to get service. So they're prepaying for the service. They're using T-Mobile's network for this phone number, but they haven't provided a name, date of birth, or address or whatnot.
Okay. All right, and then we have phone number 813-953-6476, which was taken from Quandarious Hammond. And this one does it not indicate that the subscription info belongs to a Quandarious Hammond?
It does. In the account billing address, it lists Quandarious Hammond with an address on Flatgate Mark Drive.
All right. Now, this T-Mobile subscriber information page looks slightly different than some of the other ones we've seen. Do you know why that is?
Yeah, at this time, 2020-21, T-Mobile had purchased Sprint. If you remember, Sprint used to be another mobile provider. So they're going through a merger here. So the records for about a year or so were merged, so to speak, and that's why it's noting Sprint now part of T-Mobile. So sometimes we call this a legacy Sprint number, but it is operating at this time was on T-Mobile's network.
Okay, thank you. And then finally, we have 813-408-2912, which Detective Soleil has indicated was a phone that was provided by James Denson. And who do we have as the subscriber information for this particular phone number?
Okay, the subscriber is Boat Denson.
Okay. Now, could Boat just be a nickname, or how do they get these subscriber names?
My experience with T-Mobile, at least, is it can depend on which store you go to, I guess how much information you're willing to provide. But you can give generally any name, and there's not, especially at this time, ID was not required to get a T-Mobile service.
Okay. So I could walk in and just say John Smith, and they would say, okay, I'll type in John Smith, and that's going to be the subscriber on this.
That could be, depending on which store or whatnot you get that T-Mobile service from, yes.
All right, now, so that's the subscriber information that you receive. With that, you were also given other records that come with it, correct?
Yes.
All right. And is one part of that call detail records?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to show page 10 of your exhibit here, and it shows, is this an example of what you would call detail records that are provided by T-Mobile?
This is, yes, and this is actually one row of activity. I had to break it up so it fit on a slide. So all this would actually be in a line on an Excel spreadsheet. This is what I was describing before, where this is call detail records, where you have a timestamp, it gives a call type, which in this instance is describing an SMS, which is a text message. It's giving the numbers that were involved, the IMSI number, the IMEI, that's that unique identifier for the device. And then it also will give the identifier for the cell site, that's the LTE site ID. It gives an azimuth, and azimuth is the direction of that antenna, what we talked about before, a latitude and longitude of where that cell site is in the world. If you remember back to that map where those two lines are meeting, that's that latitude and longitude. It'll resolve it to a physical address in the world, and it will do that depending on the record that's provided, but sometimes it'll do it for the beginning of the call and the ending of the call. So you may have the same information if your call starts on one cell site and ends on one, or if you're on the interstate, you may be starting on one cell site and 10 minutes later, when your call's done, you're 10 miles up the road, it might be a different cell site that call is connecting with.
Okay, so it'll give you both cell sites then?
Yes.
All right. So for instance, in this particular case, you indicate the latitude and longitude of the last tower, which is 27.98901 and negative 82.4. So if you were to go in this world and have a latitude, longitude, and go to exactly to that particular spot in the world, this cell tower that we're talking about should be right at that spot?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, it also gives an address of 4406 East Osborne Avenue, but the latitude and longitude is what is actually the location of the cell tower.
That's what we use to map, and that's what is the most reliable piece of data, yes.
Now, you also give an example from data that gives time in advance. So I'm going to take you to your slide number 13 of your exhibit. What are you talking about here when you talk about time in advance? If you can explain that to the jury, please.
Sure. So this, again, is actually one row of activity. At the start of this row of activity, it gives a latitude and longitude, end latitude and longitude. So that's the estimated location of that device at the end of that network event or that connection with the cell site. It's going to give your IMSI, which is identifier for the SIM, associated with the phone number, and IMEI. That's a unique device identifier. In this case, it'll give actually the type of device, a Samsung Galaxy S8. It gives start date and time, end date and time, so some timestamps. And then it will give identifiers for that cell site that it was associated with. And then kind of the important piece of data is the distance, the start timing advance miles, the end timing advance miles. So in this example, it's 0.53 for both. So that 0.53 is the estimated distance from that cell site that network event or that transaction occurred with.
All right, now, Sergeant, do you take this information that's provided in these timing in advance and in these cell site data that you receive, how do you turn that into a map form or a form in which that it can be presented to a jury or to anyone to explain where the phone may be located?
Sure. So we have a mapping tool. It's called CellHawk. There's several other tools available. That's the one that I prefer to use. I also can use things like Google Earth. But for the purposes of this demonstration or this demonstrative creator, I use a tool called CellHawk.
All right. And then for that cell hawk, you input the data that you're receiving, basically, and it will put out on a format for you so that you can review it on a map.
Yes.
Okay. So let's start first with the phone number that's been associated with Zvante Sampson. Did you, in fact, do that same sort of information with Zvante Sampson's phone?
Yes.
All right. And were you able to obtain both the cell site activity as well as some timing advance records with the phone number associated with Zvante Sampson?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to start with what's page 14 of your exhibit that we have here. Explain to the jury what we are looking at with regards to the cell site activity with Zvante Sampson.
So this is a map depiction of activity between 9 p.m. and 9:10 p.m. on August 22nd, 2021, for the phone number ending in 9827. There's activities occurring with two different cell sites, one at 9:08 p.m., and then there's activities between 9:07 and 32 seconds and 09:08 p.m. Again, where the two lines are meeting is the location of the cell site. The shaded area is the direction of that interaction, or which side of the cell tower it interacted with. And then the pins there are just representing two locations that were provided to me by Detective Slay as being relevant in the investigation. East Hillsborough Avenue and North 43rd Street being the red pin, and then 4412 East Hillsborough Avenue being the blue pin.
Okay. And you don't know specifically about the facts regarding this case per se, you just know that those are relevant areas to the crime or to the charges?
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and so maybe we can get a better idea. So US 92, what road is US 92?
That's Hillsborough Avenue, or there's East Hillsborough Avenue.
Okay. And so these locations, Hillsborough Avenue and North 43rd Street, which the jury has heard about, that's where that red pin is located, correct?
That's correct.
And the blue pin is 4412 East Hillsborough, which is just a little bit down the block.
That's correct.
All right. So based on this information, at the time between 9:07 and 9:08 p.m., where would you estimate that the cell phone belonging to Zvante Sampson was located, generally?
Generally, I would say consistent with being in this.
You can use, there's a stick beside you, or the thing if you want to use it?
Yes. Based on these records, I would say generally it's going to be in that area.
Okay.
Again, and I say generally.
Now, this is not the timing advance records, correct?
That's correct.
All right. You also obtained timing advance records with this phone. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So moving on to page 15, again, sticking with Zvante Sampson's phone number of 813-461-9827. Is this an example of timing advance records that we were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, explain to the jury then, what is the difference between this one and the last one that gives you any indication, or maybe a better indication of where the phone may be located?
Sure. So the data here that gets a little more granular and gives us as investigators a better idea of where that device was, or a lot of times the most helpful, this is very helpful in looking for video surveillance. If we have, we're trying to find a phone, we can use this type of data. You see those arcs. So those arcs that are occurring in this set of data between 9:07:30 p.m. and 9:08:34 p.m., those are the estimated distances from that cell site. They're interacting with the side of the cell site, which is the shaded areas representing, which is generally going to be the north side of the cell site, generally arcing for that distance. So it gives a lot more granularity than the previous slide we looked at, which is simply the side of a cell site that it was interacting with. Now this is actually giving an estimated distance. Okay. The dots, coming off are the estimated locations that T-Mobile provides. Again, they preface that in their record saying this is an estimated location. But when you kind of get them in congestion, I've learned that sometimes it's a good idea, if you're trying to find that cell phone, I'd probably go look in that area.
Okay. So when you see, so the more times where it's hitting kind of in the same location, you would, as a detective, and you had to find that phone, and you were saying, and they give you this, where would you go first?
Can I use a stick?
Yeah.
If that was a scenario, I would draw a box, a block north of Hillsborough. I'd probably go 2 or 3 blocks south of Hillsborough, between 4,300 and maybe 4,600, and I would look all around that area.
Okay. So according to these timing advance records, between 9:07 and 9:08, that phone was probably somewhere in that area that you have just described?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to go to the phone that is associated with Andrew Thompson. Let me get to the phone number. Now, this is the phone where the records come from AT&T, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So as far as the CDR with cell site activity, what does this show as far as the phone belonging to Andrew Thompson?
There was no activity between 9 p.m. and 9:10 p.m. for that phone number ending in 4882 on August 22nd, 2021.
All right, so during that time period, during those 10 minutes, by saying no activity, that means that the individual who had that phone was either not texting or not calling or not using any sort of internet type activity on that phone.
Correct. No calls or texts. There was no records created on AT&T's network for user interaction.
Okay, so for AT&T, normally you would need some sort of something to, in order for them to put up the situation where it might be.
Correct. Most commonly a call or a text.
Okay. Now, it also has, AT&T has some, what's called historical precision location, is that correct?
Yes.
And what is that?
That's their estimated location of device at a specific timestamp.
Okay. No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Nope, that's what it is.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if you were done, I
Yep.
apologize. So going to page 17, did it give at 9:09, almost 9:10 PM, did it kind of give a general location or where it thought the phone might be?
It did. So at 9:09:55 PM on August 22nd, 2021, it gave latitude and longitude, which is going to be depicted right in the middle of that shaded area, that shaded green circle you're looking at, with a 1,500 meter accuracy, which is quite large.
Okay. Now, Detective, you're not aware of what time this shooting or the circumstances surrounding this actually occurred, other than it was somewhere between 9 and 9:10, would that be right?
I believe it was provided to me at some point, but I don't recall it at this moment.
Okay. So at 9:00, so if the shooting occurred at 9:04, at 9:09, the phone's here, it could be that he has moved to that location at that point, or this could be maybe slightly inaccurate, or one combination of both of those.
I think a combination of both could occur, yes.
Okay. Moving to the phone associated with Jaylin Bedward. This is 813-534-8321. Let me just confirm that with my notes here to make sure I've got the right phone. I believe I do, but. Yes, so this is the phone number associated with Jaylin Bedward, which also had a T-Mobile, right? So the only one that had AT&T was Andrew Thompson.
Correct.
All right. So with this T-Mobile, did you receive or were you able to map out the CDR cell site activity with this phone?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you page 18 of your exhibit and ask you, is this in fact, with Jaylin Bedward, explain if you could to the jury what this is showing.
Yeah, so this is going to be similar to the previous record. This is going to be activity, call detail records, or calls or texts generally, between 9 p.m. and 9:10 p.m. on August 22nd, 2021, for this phone number ending in 8321. There was an interaction that occurred at 9 o'clock and 42 seconds. Occurring with the cell site you'll see there, where those two blue lines are meeting, generally with the north or northeast side of that cell site. The antenna is facing that way.
Okay. And so both the pin locations that are located here are within that range of that cell tower?
Yes.
And so if someone was in either one of those locations using that phone, it would make sense that it's hitting that spot on that cell tower?
That would be consistent with, yes.
Okay. Did you also receive time in advance records for this phone also?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go to page 19. All right, Sergeant, if you can, please, because this one seems a little bit more complicated than some of the other ones we've seen, explain what we're looking at here so that the jury can understand what this map is showing.
Yeah, so again, this is activity between 9 p.m. and 9:10 p.m. on August 22nd, 2021, phone number ending in 8321. This is a timing advance record, so where all of our straight lines are meeting, that's going to be the location of the cell site. The shaded areas are the direction of that cell site antenna that is interacting with, so the north side maybe, or maybe the east or west. And then those arcs that are lines by itself, those are the estimated distances from that cell site. Then lastly, we have a lot of those pins shooting up from the cell site location. That's T-Mobile's estimated location of that device at that time. So here we've got interaction with 3 different cell sites in that 10-minute time span. Over on the west side of the map, which is going to be the left side, my left side, around 9:05 p.m., there's activity towards the bottom of the southern cell site between 9 and 24 seconds, 9 o'clock 24 seconds, and 9:08:05. And then there's interaction with the cell site on the eastern side between 9:04:27 and 9:09 and 0 seconds.
All right, and what do the lines and the curves and the dots signify in this particular case?
So it just shows that device was interacting or was estimated to be that distance from those cell sites. What's, I guess, unique or significant with this record compared to the previous one is when you have interactions with more than one cell site, it often gives you a higher reliability. So you have distance from one cell site that matches up or crosses with a distance from a different one. I think a previous question you asked me is if I were to go look for that cell phone, I would go wherever those arcs intersect. Because now you've got 2 different cell sites giving similar information or the same information.
So let's say at 9:05 p.m., if you have to find that phone where it was at 9:05 p.m., what would be the area you would look at that time period?
Can I use the stick again?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I'd say at 9:05, I would draw a square around these 2 pins, probably go 1 block north and 1 block south, and I'd start there.
Okay. Now, if an individual had left, say, this location kind of in the middle of Hillsborough and had headed east at 9:03 p.m., let's say, it was driving the normal speed. At 2 minutes later, would you anticipate that that phone would be hitting anywhere around that area?
I would not, no.
Okay, so in 2 minutes, it would probably be hitting by towers further off this location. Would that be accurate?
Well, it'd either be hitting cell sites further to the east or the right-hand side of the screen, but most importantly, we would see our distances or our arcs would also be showing on that eastern side or on the right side of the screen.
All right. So, okay, thank you, Detective. I think that explained that. All right. Moving on now, we're going to go to the phone number that has been associated, let me make sure I got this one right, with Quandarious Hammond. So again, Mr. Hammond had a T-Mobile, correct?
Yes.
All right. So going to page 20 here, during the time period between 9 and 9:10, again, this is showing no activity.
That's
All right?
correct.
Okay. So at that point in time, so between those, for those 10 minutes, that phone that's associated with Quandarious Hammond was not making it, or was it making any phone calls, any texts, any using the phone for internet service or anything like that?
Not that were reported to T-Mobile. There could be activity that may have occurred that's not a call or text that didn't show up on the network, potentially like an iMessage or something like that. But generally, that would use T-Mobile's network did not show up on those records.
All right. Now, did you receive, again, with this phone number, time and advance records?
Yes.
All right. Going to page 21 of your exhibit, is this in fact the time and advance records you received with regards to Quandarious Hammond's telephone?
Yes.
All right. If you can, again, once again, explain to the jury what we are looking at with regards to this phone.
So here, a little bit different, and this is due to that merger between T-Mobile and Sprint. So their cell sites they were using, they started to merge and share their cell sites. So some of the information about which side of the cell site was not provided or not available in a cell site list. But again, we're seeing interactions between 9 o'clock p.m. and 9:10 p.m. With the cell site located where the two lines are meeting. That's that cell site in the bottom. On the north side of that cell site with estimated distances that kind of go up to the Hillsborough Avenue and then extend down. The two circles you're seeing, right in the middle of those circles, those are locations of cell sites. And again, that's because on the records, we're not able to determine which side of that cell site it occurred with. So that then larger circle that's around it, that's your estimated distance. So what's interesting here is you've actually got estimated distances, kind of a area that's encompassed between the outer rims of those two circles and then the other arcs that are coming from that southern cell site.
So does this give it almost a more refined location, if you will, for the phone?
It does. Most notably is that the activity at 9:04:47 p.m. gives, again, it's a 360-degree distance. So it's saying somewhere in that 360 degrees around that cell site. But then at 9:04:12, so just before that, you've got a distance just to the east, which means that cell phone wasn't moving from one side all the way to the other. It's going to be likely to be right near where those two arcs are on the interior of those circles.
So if you could, as you've done previously with the other, can you show kind of the general location that you would expect that phone around 9:05, I'd say, or 9:04, between 9:04 and 9:05, where that phone, if you had to go look for it, where it would be located?
If I was asked to look for that phone, I would, again, I'd go 1 or 2 blocks north and south of Hillsborough Avenue. I'd go just on the left-hand side or west side of the red pin. I'd come down, go across, and then go up 1 or 2 blocks to the right or east of the blue pin, and then make a rectangle right there. I'd look right in that rectangle box.
All right.
Sorry, rectangle.
So based on these records, you would estimate that that phone was somewhere in around that Hillsborough area and around those dots during that time period?
Yes.
And again, as with the other phone, it did not head to the east, it did not go anywhere different, it stayed in that general vicinity during that time period?
It appears that way, yes.
And finally, the phone number that has been associated with James Denson in this case, we have, it's 408-2912. Again, with the cell site activity, there was no activity as we've seen with a couple of the other phones, is that right?
For the call detail records, correct. Calls or texts, no activity.
All right. Did you also obtain time in advance records for this phone?
Yes.
Showing you what's page 23 of your exhibit, what does this time in advance record indicate to you?
It indicates to me there's several records that occurred in that 10-minute time span. And again, they're occurring with cell sites that generally provide coverage to that area. That would be where the blue and red pins are, with several arcs or estimated distances from those cell sites that are crossing over or in that area.
Right. And again, under these time in advance records, some of these dots are almost correlated with those dots. And that's the estimated spot that T-Mobile's giving, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right there.
That's exactly correct. T-Mobile prefaces and said this is an estimated location, and I've known from experience too that does not mean the device was there. That's what T-Mobile is reporting to us, saying this is our estimated location.
But you would agree, though, that that's a pretty good indication that it's somewhere in that area?
Again, well, I would say if I was asked to look for that device, I would go right to that spot.
If I may have one moment?
Yes, sir.
All right, Your Honor, at this time, I will pass the witness.
Cross.
Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Good afternoon.
So there were several phones looked at. I think I'm going to try and keep it simple by referring to some of the phones by color, specifically looking at, we'll say, the light blue phone I believe you identified belonged to a Jaylin Bedward, correct?
I believe that's what was relayed to me, yes.
And a black number linked to a James Denson?
That's correct.
And lastly, the green number you stated was linked to an Andrew Thompson?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Look at page 18 of your composite exhibit 40, which exhibit is this? 45. All right. So I believe you stated the arches point in a northern direction. Typically the phone would be within those arches.
No, for this record, so this is going to be a cell site activity, so general calls text. This is simply stating that that device interacted with the cell site located where the straight lines meet, with the antennas facing in this direction in the north, where that shaded area is. That's the interaction occurred within that range or in that cell site's coverage.
Right. So somewhere within where that cell site covers that area, the cell phone was interacting with that tower, correct?
Correct.
And typically cell phones interact with towers that usually are more closer to the cell phone due to the stronger strength, correct?
Generally speaking, yes.
Excluding other situations such as weather or any factors that may impact tower coverage, right?
Yeah, there could be weather, there could be overload of use, there could be a tall building right next to you and the cell phone's there, so it's going to a further one. There could be different things that affect it.
Okay. But those things that would affect it are pretty rare, you would say?
I would say generally rare, yes. Generally, the cell phone for calls and text always will pick the cell site with the best signal.
Okay. Looking now at page 19, again, the blue phone tied to Jaylin Bedward. And correct me if I'm wrong, typically with the timing advance records, when there's overlap, would it be fair to say that where the overlap is likely, more likely than not, where the cell phone is?
It's a very high indicator that's where the device is or was.
Okay. So based on the mappings and the overlap, would it be reasonable to say that the cell device was on Hillsborough Avenue between 9 p.m. and 9:08 p.m.?
I would say it'd be consistent with, yes.
I'm going to show you page, what is it? 23, which is previously identified as the phone tied to Mr. Denson. Again, based on the timing advance, you stated where the overlap is usually where the phone is. Would you say that that phone would likely be on Hillsborough Avenue as well?
I would say yes, very consistent with.
I'm going to try my best here. Looking at the phone tied to Mr. Denson, and now referring back to the phone tied to Mr. Bedward, would you say that the mappings of these records are quite similar to one another?
I'd say they are, yes, similar. I believe Denson, that the slide you showed just previously had a little more granularity or some records that were maybe closer to Hillsborough Avenue, or the timing advances were.
Okay, but based on your extrapolation of the data, observing the data, interpreting data, would it be reasonable to say that those phones were likely close together or near to one another?
Well, I guess it depends. Are you mean like in the same car, or you mean like on the same block, or would you mean in the same neighborhood? Because I think that, I want to make sure I understand you correctly.
Well, you tell me.
Oh, I would say along the same block, in the same area.
Okay.
So if we're saying the 4400 block of East Hillsborough, 4300 block, I would say consistent with that, yes.
But you can't pin it down to say, being side by side, say, by myself and Mr. Terry, based on the mappings, correct?
Definitely not.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what was identified as the green number, again, linked to Mr. Andrew Thompson. Now, you stated that because this phone utilized services from AT&T, the mapping was slightly different, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And based on the mapping, you stated it'd be reasonable to assume that within that green radius, the phone would somewhere likely be within there?
So again, this is where AT&T prefaces it, and my experience has shown this, is that if you ask me to go look for that phone, I would start there, but I know that that doesn't necessarily mean the phone is going to be inside that radius.
Is it more likely than not to be within that radius, though?
That's a good question. I'd say there's a decent possibility is how I would describe it, yes.
And I can zoom in. You familiar with Tampa?
Generally, yes.
Could you identify to the jury what that large red, I believe it may be a highway is?
I believe that's Interstate 4.
Okay.
Yes.
So based on the mappings and based on the cell phone data, would it be possible for the phone to be traveling on Interstate 4?
Yes.
And kind of going back and forth here again, quickly looking at Mr. Denson's phone, page 23, based on the way that the wedges are facing, looking at, I guess, the latest times from 9:04, 26 p.m., 9:08, 40 p.m., and 9:08, 49 p.m., would it be reasonable to say that the device may be traveling westward?
I think it's difficult because the different interactions, I probably wouldn't be able to give a travel opinion necessarily with these records.
And the same would apply to Mr. Bedward's phone?
That's correct, yes.
No further questions?
Sergeant Van Heist, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First, I want to talk to you a little bit about coordinated universal time. Could you explain that to us?
Sure. So most records from cell phone companies and other providers like Google, Apple that we get come in coordinated universal time, or also known as UTC. We have to make an adjustment to either Eastern Daylight or Eastern Standard Time to put the records in our local time.
So if you're adjusting right now for this season, let's say, going through November, we always talk about falling back sometime, right around that time. So what would we be now as far as UTC goes?
I believe we're 4 hours. I always double check it to make sure that I'm right. If it's 4 or 5, it flips to, I believe it goes to 5. I believe we're in 4 now. So.
Okay, all right. Now, talking about Mr. Denson and the analysis of some of the records that you had with him. So there's no call activity during that time frame, but you're still able to get, from the timing advance records, activity with the cell phone towers, correct?
Correct.
And in your particular analysis, there were 13 such events that occurred during the 10-minute time frame that you were given by Detective Talea?
I believe so. I'd have to look at the exact spreadsheet, but that sounds about right.
And some of those events could be somebody going on a website or checking a social media page or using an app or something along those lines, correct?
Are you referring to the timing advance records?
Well, what you're using, correct.
Right. So the timing advance actually have no, they're network interactions between the phone and a cell site. And they're really the cell phone company or the cell site initiating it just to know where that cell phone is at certain times so it can make sure all those things happen at the right times. So there really is not even an interaction like going on social media or things like that. It's just an interaction.
But the phone would have to be powered on, correct?
Yes.
And it wouldn't be like in airplane mode or anything along those lines, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Mr. Hernandez?
I don't think questions.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sorry.
You became involved in the case essentially as a supervisor first, correct?
No, I was not in homicide at this time.
Okay, so you weren't in homicide, you weren't called out originally to the scene or anything like that, you just assisted once records were collected.
That's correct.
You don't end up seeing any of the physical phones themselves or, authoring search warrants, things of that nature?
No.
Detective Saleha is the one that brought you in to do that?
Yes.
And you're relying, with these pinpoints that you have in the maps as far as areas of significance on whatever investigation has already been conducted, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. The records that you receive, do you ask for anything additional, or are you just taking what Detective Saleha gives you?
Taking the records, again, asked for locations of significance so that I could use them on the map, and that would hopefully be helpful to him.
Okay. And you end up, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, and then generally, obviously, at times of when things occurred, so we can look at those times on the records.
Right, you're targeting specific areas and timeframes that the lead detective on the case is giving you to kind of guide your evaluation of the evidence.
That's correct.
And the mapping that we're seeing is basically like a 8 to 10 minute time frame?
Yeah, I think I used 9 p.m. to 10, or 9:10, so a 10-minute time span.
Okay. And that specific time frame, who came up with that?
So that was probably in discussion with Detective Saleha, or I believe he had given me times where gunfire was either observed or reported or he had information about. My recollection is that 10-minute time span gave minutes before and minutes after, generally maybe 5 or so minutes.
And obviously, the records that were available to you were more voluminous than just that time period.
Yes.
And so you concentrate on that, and you're mapping the activity itself, like we talked about, whether it be calls or text messages, and then you're doing this timing advance mapping.
Correct.
And you said the timing advance mapping is strictly kind of cell provider driven.
Right.
Not based on any activity or connection that the cell phone itself is making at that time.
Are you referring to like a call or a text?
Right.
Generally, yes. I have received some training where you can be making a call and that may trigger a timing advance record, but it's also very common where that timing advance record occurs completely independent of the user's interaction with the device.
And the cell phone companies are the ones keeping track of that. Like you say, it's more of a business situation, that they're trying to see where towers are necessary.
Generally, I think mostly for timing advance, they want to make sure that call or text is going to go through, so they have to know generally where that device is.
When you get the records, you receive records, as you testified, from Jaylin Bedward, right?
Yes.
And you receive records from Zvante Sampson,
Yes.
Quandarious Hammond,
Yes.
Andrew Thompson,
Yes.
and James Denson.
Yes.
And those are all the maps that we saw.
Yes.
You also receive a cell phone record from an individual named Devin Sampson, is that correct?
Yes.
And you ended up mapping his phone as well.
Yes.
And his phone was in that same area that you were seeing these other phones.
I believe so. I'd have to go back and look at those records to verify that.
If you have one moment. Do you have your records with you?
I do not, I'm sorry.
Okay. Permission to
Granted.
would it refresh your recollection, see the maps that you did?
Yes, and I think actually I stand corrected. I do have my report I could refer to, which may give me an idea of it.
Okay, sure.
Would that be helpful? Okay.
And I was referring to pages 8 through 10 of your report.
Thank you. Yeah, so I am reviewing the map that I did create regarding a phone number for Devin Sampson ending in 3443. Is that the number you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, generally I would say it was consistent with being that area also.
Okay, and that's from that same type of record, the timing advance that you were seeing with the other phones.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever receive any phone records from an individual by the name of Cedric Brown?
I don't believe so.
Okay, and did you receive any phone records from an individual named Maxwell Bedwell?
I don't believe so.
And what about Kamani Bedward?
I don't believe so.
I'm sorry, the other one, I meant Maxwell Bedward.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, nothing further.
Anyone else? Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Good afternoon.
Sergeant, when we talk about timing advance. And on direct examination, you looked at bear with me. Page 12, which is called an example of data provided. And you said that this comes to you in an Excel spreadsheet, correct?
Yes.
And does this Excel spreadsheet, how is it detailed? What I mean by that is, if this is an example, does someone ask for a date and then it produces data for that date in an Excel sheet?
So if I understand your question correctly, when law enforcement requests records from T-Mobile, how does T-Mobile know which records to provide?
No, is this page 12, this T-Mobile call detail, I'm not looking at this one, excuse me. Timing advance. Same premise though. When you get these records, they're provided to you by T-Mobile, correct?
Yes.
And they're regarding timing advance.
Yes.
When you get it, is it providing you these records in this Excel sheet for a date?
So the search warrant would have listed a time range requested, authorized by the judge. So I think in this scenario, it was maybe 2 or 3 days of records, maybe a day before, the day of the homicide, and the day after. So if T-Mobile had those records available, then they would provide those chronologically in an Excel spreadsheet.
Did you, instead of showing us an example, did you get an actual data for the days for which you requested records?
The Detective Saleha did, yes.
Did you get them?
Yes.
Okay. And in discussing this example that you're giving me, and if you don't mind turning around for 1 second.
Sure.
It talks about what the confidence level is. Do you know what that is?
Generally, yes.
Okay. Can you tell me what confidence level means?
So for T-Mobile timing advance records, they'll give a confidence level, if available, for an estimated location of that device. So that's going to be that little dot that extends out from the cell site. Generally, they will give it, I believe, low, medium, or high.
Okay.
These are classifications.
Do you know, can you tell us what medium means?
I believe I'd seen on some of their explanation, around 200 meters is what they estimate.
Okay.
I'd have to look back at the records to see, but that's a general recollection I have.
All right, and you said it would also range low and high.
Correct.
Okay. High would be what?
I believe under 100 meters.
Okay. Low would be?
I believe above 300. Again, without me looking at their definitions, that's my recollection.
Okay. And when Mr. Terry was asking you on direct examination where you would expect to find a phone, you used your pointer and you told us that you would start in a range and a location based on A, the pins, and B, what your records are telling you, correct?
Yeah, specifically the distances from the cell site is what I would go after.
And if you told us that you would have started in this particular situation with the 4400 block of Hillsborough Avenue, Mr. Terry said this is probably where the phone was at and asked you if you thought that it would be in that general area. And you said, I believe so.
Correct.
And I assume what you're telling us is that that's where you would first look for the phone.
Right.
And in the event that you did not find the phone there, you would expand your search for that phone, correct?
Yes.
Until you either found that phone or you didn't.
Right.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, sir.
You're free to go. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, State, call your next witness.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you.
Counselor, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. Would you state your name?
Hi, my name's Bessie Tafe.
And how long have you been employed with the Tampa Police Department?
I've been with Tampa Police for 13 and a half years.
What is your job title?
I am currently a forensics shift supervisor.
And were you working in that same position in August of 2021?
No, I was a crime scene technician too at that time.
Did part of your roles include the photographing of potential items of evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you involved in the homicide investigation regarding Suni Bell?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to document the vehicle on August 27th of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was your role in documenting that vehicle, or at least responding to impound on that date?
I responded to the impound lot. I took photographs of the vehicle as is, and then once we opened the vehicle for the search warrant, I documented the interior of the vehicle.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 24A through LL. Do you recognize these photographs?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do.
Do these, at least in part, include some of the photographs that you took of that vehicle on that previously discussed date?
Yes.
And do they represent, or do they fairly and accurately depict the vehicle as you did when you photographed it?
Yes, they do.
At this time, Your Honor, I would move to admit States 24A through LL.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection.
States 4A will be admitted.
24A, Your Honor.
24A through, what is it?
LL.
LL, yes.
Now, did you take some overalls of the vehicle in advance of actually completing a search?
Yes, I did.
And is that what we're seeing here in States 24B?
Yes.
When the vehicle arrived at least to impound, or at least when you arrived to photograph it, was the vehicle still sealed, showing 24D?
Yes, it was.
And how is it that you were able to tell if a vehicle is still sealed?
They're still intact. They're not broke. We placed them specifically that if the door or the trunk or hood opens, the seal will break, so they are still intact.
And when you're talking about the seal, is that depicted here in this image somewhere?
Yes.
Where's that?
It'll be this right here.
Thank you. And are those placed all around the vehicle, at least when you arrived?
Yes, they are.
Now, if you are able to search a vehicle or are arriving to search a vehicle pursuant to a search warrant, at some point, do you or the detectives actually break that seal so that you're able to complete a search of the interior, showing 24F?
Yes, we do.
So at some point, you actually open those?
We do.
Do you take full overalls in advance of doing that of the vehicle?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity in this particular case, showing you 24G, to photograph the interior of this Chrysler 300?
Yes.
And what are we looking at here?
This would be the interior front driver's side of the vehicle.
24H, did you also obtain photographs from the back?
Yes, that's the interior rear driver's side.
And in lieu of going through all of the photos, do you do this same process, moving around the vehicle, photographing overall as you move in closer and closer?
Yes, I do.
Did you have an opportunity to document from the passenger side of the vehicle any mail items inside of the car, showing 24I?
Yes.
Did you also document those in 24J?
Yes.
Once you have completed the processing, or at least a preliminary overview of the interior of the vehicle, do you also give a preliminary overview of the trunk area?
Yes, I do.
In 24L, is that what's depicted here?
Yes, it is.
And when you open the trunk, tell me about how you actually process the items therein.
On this one, I initially took overalls as is when the trunk was open, and then the actual detectives are searching through the trunk, and as they find anything of value for me to document, then I take photos.
Were you asked by the detectives in this particular case to document what we're observing here in this photo any closer?
Yes.
And specifically the box 24M?
Yes.
Is this a photograph that you took of that box?
It is.
Were you able to actually obtain additional information of the label of that box in 24O?
Yes, that was a close-up of the information.
And were you asked to document whether there were any contents to that box itself?
Yes, it was actually just a partial piece of the box.
There was no Zastava Arms AR-556 rifle located inside of this box?
There was not.
Was there an AK assault rifle located in the vehicle at all?
Not at all.
In your continued search of the trunk of that vehicle, did you photograph after that box had been removed?
Yes.
And do you ultimately also photograph the interior of the vehicle after the items have been removed? Do you continue processing even when you empty it?
Of the trunk, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, did you, taking you back to the trunk area of the vehicle, have an opportunity to photograph the trunk after the items had been removed in States 24S?
Yes, I did.
And is it part of your procedure, or at least in this particular case, did you actually do anything in addition to just removing the items that you could visibly see from the trunk?
We also removed the carpet liner that's in the trunk.
Is there any particular reason that, in this case, that you decided to do that? Is that
Well, just
standard?
because it's extra, it's another compartment underneath there with the spare tire, just to search
So
it.
that would be standard if there was a spare tire to access that?
Yes.
Okay. And after you, this 24U, after you had an opportunity to remove that, is this the area that you visualized in 24U that the spare tire of this Chrysler 300 was located?
Yes, it is.
And were there any items that you also removed from the area, from this compartment under the mat?
Yes.
In looking at 24V, can you identify, at least from this photo, what it is that we are looking at?
The items that I collected?
Yes, please, 24U.
There's going to be a owner's manual here and an empty casing box in that area.
In 24...
Or not casing, I'm sorry, live rounds.
In 24V, Your Honor, may we please approach?
It's kind of loud. Hear the testimony.
In 24V, is this just a closer up of the items that were collected there?
Yes, it is.
W, were you able to remove the items that were actually under that mat here and photograph them individually then?
Yes, I was.
And what is this that we're looking at that was collected here?
That is the owner manual for the Zastave, or however you say it, firearm.
And is that similar to the box that we removed?
Yes, it is.
And in 24X, is this the same item?
Yes, it's just the other side of the manual.
Did you also, under that mat, locate from 24Y some materials related to ballistics?
Yes.
And is that what we're also looking at in 24Z?
Yes, it is.
And was that box empty, or did it have anything contained therein?
It was empty.
In 24AA?
That's just the label on the ammo box to show what the caliber was.
So a different angle, essentially, from
Yes.
that box. And, Your Honor, may we briefly approach?
Yes. One of the photographs in that last batch showed an empty box of 357 caliber ammunition for a pistol. Nobody's alleging in this instance that a 357 was used, possessed, owned, or anything. And it's completely legal to own 357 ammunition if you meet the criteria of not being a convicted felon and you're the right age. And an empty box in a car should not be viewed by you as any evidence of any wrongdoing involving this crime or the allegations made by the state. It is completely unrelated, and I'm instructing you to disregard the fact that that box was even found in that car. Thank you.
And for clarification purposes, Your Honor, the 357 box?
Correct.
Thank you. Now, once you had an opportunity to review the contents of the trunk, did you take that cardboard box from the Zvante rifle? Did you impound that?
Yes, I did.
And did you move to, at some point, the interior of the vehicle and photograph the interior a little bit closer?
Yes.
I'm showing you 24DD. Can you see that okay?
Yes, I can.
Which side of the vehicle are we looking at here?
I'm back now at the front driver's side.
And had you had an opportunity to review the center console area of that vehicle?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you locate in the center console area between the driver's seat and the center console?
A Glock firearm.
Is that at least the view that you had before manipulating any kind of evidence or photographing anything else in 24FF?
Yes, it is.
Do you, if you recover a firearm from a vehicle, 24EE, is that the same weapon?
Yes.
Is that, what view are we looking at here when you take this photo?
I'm looking, that's probably from the top of the seat, looking down at the floorboard.
Okay, so did you document the location of this firearm before you pulled it out to photograph it?
Yes, I did.
Is there a time in which you actually do remove that firearm from the vehicle and photograph it?
Yes, I do.
And would that be documented in 24HH?
Yes.
Now, there was some talk of the vehicle being impounded or previously photographed by another crime scene tech. Did you have an opportunity to review the area of the passenger side window at 24Q?
Yes, I did.
Did you, in observing that, notice any kind of defect at that area?
Yes, there were some gouges on the passenger side mirror.
And did you do anything as a result of noticing that defect in order to preserve any potential evidence there? Showing you 24BB.
Yes, once I had documented the original damage, I collected samples of the paint from that area and impounded that.
Why would you collect paint samples in any case?
In any case, normally like that, if, say for instance, we collected a firearm or anything of evidence that would have paint transfer on it, then we would have a control sample of that paint from the vehicle to match the paint on that item.
Did you impound the control sample that you scraped then
Yes, I
from
did.
there? So if I'm looking at 24BB, if you'll follow me for 1 second, is this circular area the area that you actually made the collection from?
Yes, it is.
That is not how the vehicle looked when it arrived?
It was not.
But you did document in 24Q, just once again, what the condition was when it actually arrived to impound for you to photo?
Correct.
May I have 1 moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Ask the witness, Your Honor.
Cross?
No questions, Your Honor.
Anyone else? Mr. Hernandez?
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Hi.
In your, are you aware in the search of the car, did you make any determination as to whether the owner of that car had a concealed weapons permit?
I have no knowledge of the owner of the vehicle.
So you have no knowledge as to whether or not the owner of the car would have a weapon in the vehicle. You would have any able to say whether that weapon was legally possessed or not legally
I would not
possessed,
be able
correct?
to. No, sir.
And for clarification, the gun that was in the trunk was a .45 caliber, not 9 millimeter, correct?
It was in the front driver's side, but yes, it was a
Okay.
.45 caliber.
Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Let me have 24Q. 1 second. I'm showing you what's been previously identified as and admitted as State's Exhibit Number 24Q. You recognize that?
Yes, sir.
And that is, well, there's not the one I want. Where's the one with it? And is that the mirror you took a paint chip from?
Yes, sir.
All right, and the reason you took that paint chip was for what?
In case we came across a firearm or something of evidentiary value that had paint transfer on it, then we would have a control sample of that paint
Okay.
from the vehicle to match.
All right, and do you know if that in fact was analyzed for gunpowder?
I do not.
You don't know? You don't
I do
know
not.
that it came back negative?
I did not process it for
All right.
GS, sir.
Thank you, I have no further questions.
Ms. Bradley? No questions? All right, may this witness be released, or may it redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
May she be
No
released?
objection to release.
You're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess no one's listening to me there. Hearing nothing, you are released. All right. State, that's your last witness today, correct? Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning, the state has 3 additional witnesses, and we will take care of that. Court will be in recess till 8:30 tomorrow morning.
All right.